name is Emmanuel Mbuba, the GLP Study Director. Welcome to IHI Vector Control Product Testing Unit. The unit consists of two sites. One is here in Bagamoyo, about 70 kilometers from Dar es Salaam. And the second one is in Lupiro village in Ifakara in Uranga district, about 450 kilometers away from this site. In this video, I want to show you the facilities of this unit. Asante sana.
The Vector Control Product Testing Unit has a dedicated administration team based at the Bagamoyo site. All the unit's paperwork, including SOPs, logs, protocols and reports, is maintained here, and associated documentation management is coordinated from here. Test items are received, logged and acknowledged before storage and eventual use. The administration building is also home to the Ifakara Health Institute archive facility. The archive is secure with limited access. We have a dedicated full-time archivist who manages all documentation and files to be archived and retrieved. The facility is equipped with fireproof cabinets and an automatic fire suppression system, which, along with a controllable environment and pest management procedures, ensures all study-related documents are stored safely in accordance with OECD guidelines. The building also houses the VCPTU standalone data server that is secured by digital identification access. All files and data are backed up on a SharePoint system, and secondary backups are kept off-site in a safe at the Bagamoyo branch head office. An independent server allows the data manager to verify and validate all programs and systems. After test items are received at the administration office, they are taken to the relevant storage facility. All stores are secured with combination locks, and only authorized personnel are issued codes. All test items are given unique numbered identifiers and are logged into the facility, capturing all the relevant information such as chemical composition, expiry date and batch numbers. Test items are stored in accordance to the material safety data sheet and sponsors' directions to ensure that they do not degrade during storage. When required, the test items will be logged out of storage. Comprehensive records of all procedures undergone by the test item, in addition to the locations of the test item, are kept in activity logs to ensure full traceability. Many of our studies require BedNet test items to be washed according to a standard procedure. This involves the washing and drying of test items 20 times to simulate the aging of nets when in use in the community. This takes place here in our wash facility. As per SOP and risk assessment, the trained personnel wear personal protective equipment to protect themselves from prolonged contact with insecticides. The test items are washed and dried in the secure compound, which is roofed to prevent degradation of insecticides by the sun. All liquid waste is channeled into 2 large evaporation tanks. These concrete-lined tanks prevent contaminated water from entering the environment. The insecticides in the contaminated water are neutralized by the sun and disposed of by evaporation. If there is a risk of rain, the evaporation tanks are covered with a roof to prevent them from becoming overfilled. The Bagamoyo site is also the location for our laboratory testing facility. Here we have a secured chemical preparation room, which we use for diluting chemicals for sanitation and the preparation of soap solutions used for washing test items. All equipment is calibrated and maintained by our service provider LASIK on an annual basis. In addition, it is regularly validated in-house using calibrated weights and data loggers. Equipment usage is logged. Test item samples are stored in temperature-monitored refrigerators. Test items are retrieved when required for testing. Tests are scheduled and conducted in strict adherence to standard operating procedures and the authorized protocol for each study. The most common test performed at this facility is the cone test. 5 mosquitoes are gently aspirated into a plastic cone overlaying a piece of test net. Mosquitoes are removed after 3 minutes. We also conduct tunnel tests where 100 mosquitoes are introduced into a tunnel containing a rabbit. The test is run between 1800 and 0600 hours. Mosquitoes are scored for blood feeding. After the cone and tunnel tests are conducted, mosquitoes are maintained with access to sugar in a temperature-controlled room to observe delayed mortality after a time period according to protocol. All data is recorded in paper forms. For all our testing, we require mosquitoes as test systems. Mosquitoes are reared here in our Insectary. This facility is currently being expanded with a second floor to house additional mosquito species. The colonies are reared under environmentally controlled conditions, and the mosquitoes are regularly tested for fitness, strain purity, and the levels of insecticide resistance. This ensures that the test systems are of a uniform and known status. Detailed records are kept of the age and physiological status of the test systems. We require rabbits for tunnel testing. They are housed here in the animal house. The facility is secured and temperatures are kept within advised ranges to keep the rabbits safe and comfortable. We have designed the pen so that the rabbits can be separated by sex, and separate pens are available for isolation of sick and pregnant animals. All animals are tagged with individual serial numbers, and the rabbits are checked weekly for their health and weight. We have an on-call certified veterinarian who checks their health status on a bi-monthly basis. The rabbits are fed from an organic garden on site, so we can be ensured that their feed is high quality and free of insecticides. Let's go now to our field site in Ifakara, where we conduct our experimental hut studies. Here we also have an insectary that is temperature controlled and maintained in the same way as the Bagamoyo insectary. From here, we travel the 30 kilometers to the field site of Lupiro, where the unit's 28 experimental huts are used to test nets against wild Anopheles arabiensis mosquitoes. The huts are built between a large area of irrigated rice and the village of Lupiro, so that maximum densities of mosquitoes are captured all year round. The huts are located on concrete platforms with an ant channel to prevent predation of mosquitoes. Huts have thatch overlaying a steel roof to maintain an indoor temperature in line with local houses. Inside the huts, test nets are hung. These are deliberately holed with 6 holes to simulate a damaged net. Volunteers sleep beneath the nets between 1800 hours and 0600 hours. At 0600 hours, mosquitoes that have entered the test nets are collected with a mouth aspirator. Mosquitoes are gently blown into a labelled paper cup. Next, a Procopac aspirator is used to collect mosquitoes from the floor and walls of the hut into a second labelled paper cup. The mosquitoes are collected from window exit traps with a mouth aspirator and placed in a third labelled paper cup. A maximum of 20 mosquitoes are put in each cup. The paper cups are transported in a bucket to the field laboratory that is located close to the huts. The field laboratory is climate controlled with granite benches and PVC walls that are easily cleaned to maintain good hygiene. Mosquitoes are sorted by one technician, while the other records the data into a paper form. For measurement of delayed mortality endpoints, the mosquitoes are held in the temperature-controlled holding room with access to sugar solution. They will be scored after a time period as per protocol. Test items are stored in a temperature-controlled environment according to the material safety data sheet and manufacturer's instructions. Before each night of testing, the test item is selected according to the experimental hut testnet and volunteer rotation sheet by the field supervisor. It is then logged out. Each test item is taken to the experimental hut and hung in a standardized way by a field supervisor for testing. At the end of the study, the test items are returned to Bagamoyo.
I hope you have enjoyed looking into our facilities from Bagamoyo all the way to Ifakara. Karibuni sana next time.